A police officer in Florida typed his ex-girlfriend's license plate into a search bar. Not once, 69 times. When that stopped working, he searched for his ex-girlfriend's mother's car 24 times. Every search told him exactly where their cars had been, which streets, what times, all so he could stalk them. He got caught, he was charged, and his sentence was 1 day in jail. Now, the victim in this particular case is an ex-girlfriend, but the cameras he had access to, the same cameras that all law enforcement currently has access to, are also tracking you. I'm Corbin. This is Corbin Uncovers AI, one human reading the actual records and news filings so you don't have to. I've spent years in Silicon Valley selling software, so when a tech company says, "Trust us, it's for safety," well, I've been in the room where that sentence gets written. 3 numbers tell the whole story: 69, 83,000, and 0. The 0 is the worst part, and it's the one number almost nobody is talking about, so I'm saving it for last. Let's start with the first number, 69. That Florida officer isn't just one bad apple. In Kansas, a police lieutenant used these cameras to track his estranged wife. His sentence, 18 months of probation. In Wisconsin, an officer tracked a woman's car week after week. Her sentence just 5 days ago from the time of shooting this video? Probation. In South Carolina, an officer searched for a former partner's car 166 times in 5 months. What happened? Well, she was fired. That's it. She didn't even get jail time or probation. Turns out if you're a police officer and you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, you don't have to ask them to share their location on their iPhone, especially because there's no repercussions for you abusing the system. The Washington Post counted at least 24 officers caught using these cameras on exes and love interests, and Flock, the camera that runs these cameras, says it knows of just 15 cases of abuse. So again, the jail time across all these cases, basically none. And hold that thought. The reason is the aforementioned 0. Okay, so what did these officers actually have access to? Well, to start with the basics, a Flock camera, in case you've been living under a rock, is a small box on a pole. Solar panel on top. You've probably driven past one this week. It photographs every license plate that passes, yours included. It logs the time and the place, forever-ish, and we'll get to that part later. And here's the part people miss. The cameras talk to each other, town to town, state to state. Just one search from one police officer in one station can sweep the entire country. Flock says it has over 120,000 cameras in 49 states. Your car's history in that system is basically a diary of your life. Church, clinic, bar, if you're anything like me, whose driveway you park in, and searching that diary requires no warrant. Nothing. Now, let's move on to the second number, 83,000. In May 2025, a sheriff's deputy in Texas ran a search across the national network. 83,000 cameras in one query. The reason he typed into the search box, this is on the record, word for word, "had an abortion, search for female." The search swept cameras in states where abortion is legal. Now, the sheriff says it was a welfare check, that her family was worried about her, but records the Electronic Frontier Foundation dug up showed deputies were talking to prosecutors about charges. The paperwork doesn't match the story, and it's not just this. ICE isn't allowed in this system. The agency has no account, no contract, nothing. So ICE typically just asks local cops to run the searches for them. And a lot of times those local cops do. Thousands of times with ICE typed right into the reason box. Even in states where using these cameras for immigration is flat out illegal. The tool built for stolen cars is now being used on exes, patients, and immigrants. Third number, 0. This is the worst part. 0 is the number of federal laws that govern this camera network. Not weak laws, not old laws. There are 0 federal laws to regulate this. Courts mostly treat your license plate as public, so there's no warrant. Now, about 16 states have passed some kind of rule. The other 34 have nothing. And again, those are state laws, not federal ones. Also, you already saw what state laws are worth. Those ICE searches broke state laws. Nothing happened to anyone. So that's the rule book. A patchwork with a hole in the middle where a federal law should be. And nobody voted this network into existence. No law created it. It was purchased. Police contract by police contract, neighborhood by neighborhood, poll by poll. Which finally explains the sentences. These officers got probation because there's barely a law to break. Prosecutors reach for little computer misuse charges because that's all that exists. The system didn't fail those women because there is no system. Now for the part they didn't see coming. The pushback is working. This month, August 2026, Flock blinked. New rules. Every police search needs a case number attached. And remember that forever-ish sentiment that I mentioned earlier? Well, here's the update. The default just dropped from 30 days of stored data with Flock cameras to 7. But listen to the wording, default. It's a setting. Any police department can turn it right back up. So on paper, it looks better, but to say it's fixed is far from the full picture. So why did Flock and police departments blink? Well, the answer is because towns started saying no. Denver's city council just refused to extend its Flock contract. Unanimously. Rhode Island towns are also canceling. And yes, some people are also ripping cameras off of poles. Here's what stays with me. Nobody voted for the biggest surveillance network in American history. It just showed up, one poll at a time, while we were busy. But that cuts both ways. Nothing has ever been easier to unvote. One council meeting, one petition, one town at a time if you're ready to work on a local level and you have hope that federal regulations may one day catch up with local state sentiment. The cameras were sold to catch the guy stealing your car. Nobody asked what happens when the guy watching the camera trying to find the guy that's stealing your car is the actual problem. Now you know. I'm Corbin, this is Corbin Uncovers AI, and if you found this video interesting or educational, then liking, commenting, and subscribing would mean more than you know with a channel at this size. Thank you so much.